I was so determined. I was so determined not to be stopped.
What I feel is an achievement. It's what God gives you.
I will have to drive all the way to Isolo and sell my 6 bottles of juices.
One of the things that happens to children when their parents are separated or divorced is if one parent could leave, they just believe that the other parent can also leave.
I'm one of those girls who's been encouraged by men all my life.
I scored the highest mark, but they refused to take me because I'm from the West.
I think one of the things that has kept me going, honestly speaking, is hard work.
When I presented the CP wheelchair, you need to see how she jumped at me.
I think the most important one for me was learning to stand up for myself.
Previously on Inhawords.
So I've been separated and divorced for about 9 years or thereabout, and it's been challenging. It's been interesting while challenging. I don't know how to quite strike that balance, but what I can say is that it's been a learning curve. And it might be surprising for you to find out that I think I found myself more after the marriage than when I was within the marriage. I'm still a very firm believer in the institution, and I intend to remarry. However, probably the times of being alone with myself gave me an opportunity to discover myself and find me. So I could say that what was intended to run me down, you know the saying that says that where they thought you were planted, you were buried is actually where you're planted. So I think that's my story. My story is a story of a woman who literally found herself, and outside of the marriage, I began to evolve. I would like to mention that I think my marriage would have succeeded if I had found myself before getting married. However, having said that, all things work together for good, and it can only get better. So talking about Dream Treats, I started Dream Treats at the age of 19. And I remember my first set of staff then were members of my church who were trying to raise money to go to school or to just survive. So I surrounded myself with a lot of young people like me, and we would use our hands to mix the cakes because there was no mixing machine. We couldn't afford one. And we would charter a taxi every single morning. We had this taxi man that would come every morning to come pick us up. And we would enter into Ajosi Adiogun right at that roundabout, and everybody would enter into one office after the other, just trying to sell donuts, sausage rolls, meat pie. And we would get there at about 7:15 in the morning because we were awake since 3 a.m. trying to make sure that our baked goods was ready. I think one of the things that has kept me going, honestly speaking, is hard work and determination, which I learned from my mom. There was no excuse, there was no story to tell. You either worked hard or you suffered hard, so to say. So we started from there, and then as time went on, it began to grow. I was able to buy some more things, but I still wasn't able to afford a proper mixer. I was still working with a tabletop mixer that had been given to me by my elder brother. So somewhere along the line, I got married. And getting married meant that I moved to an entirely different part of town. And so it was like I was starting my business all over again because it wasn't easy for me to come from that end of town to where my parents were living and then to be baking. It was going to be stressful. Plus, I got pregnant almost immediately. So I started all over again from my home. Now, one thing I've also noticed about myself or about the business is that each time we had to transit from one place to the other, the same principles apply. The principle of hard work, the principle of determination, and also joining communities. You know, relating with the people around me, letting people know that this is what I do. So I got married, and then I was eventually able to buy my first oven. And then after that, I got my first proper industrial mixing machine using a leasing company. It was a very scary thing for me back then, like, oh my God, how am I going to pay for this mixer? But I think I was made more confident by the fact that the jobs were beginning to come in. And then the mixer came in, and the yield was better. And more people started ordering for cakes from us.
You are watching Inhawords on W, where all women share their story and experience. Keep watching W. W. Everything woman.
Follow us on all our social media page at W Now. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at W Now. Hit the notification bell to get new updates. Keep watching W Everything Woman.
Still to come.
So at a point, we decided to build our website and we used the hashtag closer to you. That was even way before the pandemic and people needed to start doing stuff online. I think we just had this foresight and we developed the website. I think I should say this. At the point when we developed our website was just before the recession that took place about 4 or 5 years ago. So for the first 1 year, nothing happened. It was like, why did we spend so much money developing the website? And you know, I'd mentioned previously that being a student of computer science has helped to shape me. So by virtue of the fact that I studied computer science, I was determined to have a website that would be up to a world-class standard. And I think we tried in that department, even if I say so by myself. So we did the hashtag closer to you. And then it's even got better with the advent of Instagram and other social media pages.
You are watching W, the Woman Channel, that brings you all the facts, figures, and information about women. W, Everything Women.
Woman, adult female human species. Very positive, built to overcome obstacles. Strong-minded, yet soft-hearted. Almost always driven by a cause. Over 765 million of the world's 796 million illiterates are women. 60% of chronically hungry people are female. 33,000 underage girls get married every day. Can the disparity be closed? Yes, it can. It will take 108 years journey if we start now. Should we give up on the journey? No, we can't. We all need to keep the walk, and talk on. Watch W as we walk the gap. W, Everything Woman.
Now, in terms of marketing, I wouldn't say that Dream Treats has ever really done paid advertisements as such. We've always depended on referrals. You know, what sort of referral? I just believe that if one person tastes the cakes or any of our other baked goods and liked it, they're likely to tell someone else and then likely to tell someone else and likely to tell who in turn would tell someone, another person again. So that's virtually how we grew. And of course, after a while, I moved away from that place again when my marriage ended to another part of town. And the same principles worked for us: hard work, persistence, and the power of communities. And as time went on, even though we're living far from some of our customers, they would still insist, "I want your cake." So we started doing delivery. And then that's how we came up with this slogan that says, "Scrumptious cakes in exquisite designs, delivered right at your doorsteps." So at a point, we decided to build our website and we used the hashtag closer to you. That was even way before the pandemic and people needed to start doing stuff online. I think we just had this foresight and we developed the website. I think I should say this. At the point when we developed our website was just before the recession that took place about 4 or 5 years ago. So for the first 1 year, nothing happened. It was like, why did we spend so much money developing the website? And you know, I'd mentioned previously that being a student of computer science has helped to shape me. So by virtue of the fact that I studied computer science, I was determined to have a website that would be up to a world-class standard. And I think we tried in that department, even if I say so by myself. So we did the hashtag closer to you. And then it's even got better with the advent of Instagram and other social media pages. So that's how our growth has been, from mixing with our hands, gradually to having our own oven, our own industrial mixers. And then from employing people who were just my age mates, all of us just trying to find a living for ourselves, we've been able to employ different people. And one of the things I'm very proud of myself about is there's hardly anyone that has worked with me who hasn't eventually gone on to either find a very good job somewhere else, baking and decorating, But many more have been able to establish businesses of their own because I love to impact. If you're around me, you have to learn. I don't believe in I learned something, I'm hiding a recipe or I'm hiding a procedure or a method. You may have my knowledge, but you don't have my connections and you perhaps don't have my grace. There's room enough for everybody to thrive and to flourish. And also, there's something that everybody is good at. I believe in finding your niche and latching onto it. So that's been our story, staying in your space, especially in a business that the trend keeps changing. It's an ever-changing trend. New things keep coming up in the baking industry. And we have been able to stay and be relevant because it's not just about being in the industry. We've also remained relevant over the last 26 years. We've also been able to train a lot of people. I mean, apart from members of staff, we've also had people who have come in for trainings who are now doing very well in their own businesses.
You are watching In Her Words on W, where all women share their story and experience. Keep watching W. W, everything woman.
Follow us on all our social media page at W Now. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at W Now. Hit the notification bell to get new updates. Keep watching W, everything woman.
Next time on
One
In
of the
Her
things that
Words.
happens to children when their parents are separated or divorced is this sense of abandonment. If one parent could leave, they just believe that the other parent can also leave, no matter what you tell them. So I didn't just want to say it with my mouth. I wanted to show it in my actions that no matter what happens, I'm always here. And that's also another reason why I did not change my surname. I didn't want a situation whereby we're probably getting to the airport or something like that, and people are like, okay, maybe the custom officer is like, what's your name? They mention one surname, I mention another surname, and they're looking about, you know. I didn't want that. It was important to me that they had that stability. And I can tell you now that they're older. They're actually the ones saying, Mommy, you need to go and remarry. Because now I think they are confident in the fact that she's got our back.